Mo Salah hits 50 Premier League goals and Liverpool dominate Galatasaray from the first till the last whistle. I thought Tottenham were brave tonight. They win 3-2 in the game, knocked out 7-5 on aggregate. And if we're really being honest, the goalkeeping change by Tudor in the first leg is really what knocked Tottenham out, because I don't think on general play over the two legs, 15th, what are they, 16th, 17th place Tottenham were that much worse than third place La Liga team Atletico Madrid. They were really in it, and I felt a little sorry for them, but there's such quality in the Atletico Madrid side, and Liverpool just absolutely by far the better team by a country mile. They were. I think it says 5. Did it say 5-1 or 4-1? It says 5-1 on the thumbnail. I've changed that now because I thought the fifth goal stood. But Liverpool go through and will play PSG. Tottenham out, and that means we will see a Barcelona Atletico Madrid quarterfinal. Arsenal play Sporting Lisbon. And, of course, we will see Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. And we're going to be bringing the panel on fairly soon as well. They have their say this evening. But we are going to talk about something that I think is very important tonight as well. Why have the Premier League teams, in your opinion, been so dismantled in this round, barring Liverpool and barring Arsenal, who both won their games 4-1 and 3-1 respectively? Why so many goals conceded by City, by Newcastle, by Chelsea, by Tottenham? And I know some of you, I want to try and have a grown-up conversation. If you can refrain from just using the word overrated, because I want to know your actual thought on this, because I have a few for you. And I don't think a lot of you are going to like it. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But I want to speak to the panel about that a little bit later tonight. If you could do us a favor, if you haven't done so already, and get the like button hit, that would be great. If you could make sure you are subscribing, that would be even better. We have K-Mac, Tom, Ram, and Husam coming on later. Plus, I will be asking Ram if he thinks Soboslai's penalty is a penalty. I think it was. There was certain contact, there's no doubt. Yes, it goes down very easy, but you have to win penalties. Until they start giving penalties without you having to go down easy, I'm not going to condemn the players anymore. I changed my mind on that. But again, when I want to hear what you guys have got to say, right, I don't want to hear the standard of the league is crap. Again, too basic. I want you to show why you're the best football community in the world. Give a reason. Like, break the detail. What standard? Not the standard. Specifically what? Because for me, the same teams that have been beaten up, I see the same issues for them in the Prem, barring Liverpool. Liverpool, actually, in the Champions League this year, have been a lot harder to break down and beat, even in the group stage. In fairness, Tottenham in the league phase under Thomas Frank were really hard to break down and create chances against. Where I felt Chelsea in a lot of their games, go right back to the Carabao game, they were conceding lots of opportunities. Why do you think that is? What is it they're not doing? I don't necessarily think it's just because they've got crap players. I think that's too simple, if I'm being honest with you. I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions on that, please. Man of the match, the Galatasaray goalkeeper. Yeah, look, he was fantastic. And look, I predicted, I think, 5-0 tonight for the game. I'm not surprised by the scoreline. I would love Galatasaray to have won, an underdog. Liverpool are my biggest rivals. But I personally just couldn't see it. They don't travel well in Europe. If you watch the Juventus game, Juve were so unlucky. They were so unlucky to not go through after their comeback. I felt this would happen if the intensity was there from Liverpool. And they had every bit of bad luck you can imagine. Their best player looks like he breaks his arm in the opening few minutes with an accidental clash with Konate. And it just all went against them. But Liverpool tonight, I want to give them their credit. I thought they were emphatic. I felt they defended well. They worked their backsides off. And I know I've given Arne Slot a lot of criticism this year, but I actually think they've been quite good at times in the Champions League. But tonight just looked like the Liverpool we've seen for the past decade. Fast, powerful, working hard as a unit, impossible to break down, and just electric. And the crowd responded. And when Anfield makes that noise, and when Anfield is that has that cauldron-esque atmosphere, it cripples teams. Least of all, no disrespect, a team of Galatasaray's level in comparison. But the comment here says Virgil and Konate magic at the back. Yeah, they were fantastic. Now, in fairness, they had nothing to do in the first half. I can't understand why Galatasaray kept Osimhen on. I'm not laughing at his injury, but he was like running around with his arm in the air like this because it's broken. There's a bone in that arm that is broken. 100% there's a broken bone. If it was just a knock, they'd have given him an injection, the pain would have gone. The fact the pain remained the whole time, trust me, there's a break in that arm. There really is. There really, really is. Pound and ground, brilliant Liverpool, but hey, have to be consistent, cannot just turn it on and off. No, I understand that, but you can live in the moment and just enjoy tonight rather than going over old ground and getting angry. I think you can do that, but it's your club. Do what you want. I want to give a personal shout out, though, to Mo Salah. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he's had a bit of a stinker of a season, if we're being absolutely honest. And I'm not going to rewrite the criticism I've given him this year. But everyone who's watched the Football Terrace long enough knows that I think this man is in GOAT conversations, both at Liverpool and the Premier League. He's a top-class player. I thought the first half was well below his standard. He missed the penalty. And I'm thinking, oh, what a way to end your Liverpool career. Not that I thought Liverpool were going out tonight, but you're just thinking 1 goal away from 50 Champions League goals. You're up against PSG next. Going to be really hard. Yeah, the season hasn't gone well. The second half, it was like watching peak Mohamed Salah. The assist for the second goal by Atletico, the overall play from Liverpool, bish, bash, bosh, one-touch football, gliding the ball through Galatasaray, a wonderful first-time cross to the back post, excellent. The goal, the amount of times he's cut in on his left boot this season, and it's hit Rose, it's knocked out a ball boy, nearly killed slots, misses. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's everywhere. This time, bang, exactly where it was meant to be. He had a majestic second half, becomes the 50th, gets his 50th Champions League goal, equals that of Thierry Henry in terms of the Champions League goal status, and a really, really top-class performance from him today. And I wanted to give him that shout-out on such a special night for him as well. And what I did like to see, the camera pan to Steven Gerrard, and maybe it's because I'm a bit annoyed at a lot of the legends at my club at the moment, and it's sort of the way he sort of paid homage, just a little, I don't know, just when Salah scored that goal and they announced it, you could see how happy he was. And that's how your own club legend should be. You should always be celebrating it, because if you are a club legend and you love that club, I always remember Rooney when he left the England setup and he gave an award to Harry Kane, who I think had hit like 25 goals. There was something going on in the dressing room, and he said, "I hope you smash my record." No, it was when he got the award, Rooney, for the highest England goal scorer. He said, "I hope Harry Kane smashes my record, because that means England have a chance of winning things." And I've always felt that's the right attitude to have, to want to hold on to those records and to remain the best, or to have the best goal scoring records. It's all a bit weird. You should always want, if you love your club, the next generation to do better than you. Makes sense. So it's really good to see that from Steven Gerrard today. I think that's how Liverpool legends should treat their other legends, for what my opinion is worth on that. But Liverpool, look, as I say, very, very impressed indeed tonight. We're bringing out the Liverpool panel very, very soon to have their say on this. Only Madrid and Barca players get fixed trophy Ballon d'Or. Okay, I don't know what that's about. I thought that'd be an interesting one. That's you guys arguing. Salah deserves a Ballon d'Or in his career. He's probably not going to get one now. But again, I don't think player awards are important. I keep talking to fans about this. They just don't matter, in my humble opinion. I don't think any less of Henry because he didn't win a Ballon d'Or. I don't think any more of Cristiano Ronaldo because he's won multiple. It just doesn't change my view. The trophies you were influential in winning on the pitch, that is what matters. And maybe it's my mantra as a Man United supporter, because I remember for years they'd interview Sir Bobby Charlton and Georgie Best when I was a kid. Like, not that they were playing, they were retired. And then I saw the Gigsies talk like this. Every time it was, "Oh, you made this milestone, you've broken this record, you're going to get this reward." They would just say, "All I really care about is the team winning. And maybe I'll look, that's it." And that's all I had pumped into my head as a kid. In everything I ever did, it was never about the personal accolades and the personal awards. It was about the achievements, And I remember, even in my own job, they pulled me aside and said, we're going to be the role I was in. There was like a person at the end of every year that got awarded the performer of the year. And they said, you're not getting it this year. I said, oh, why? Because I killed it in the region. I said, well, we've just promoted you to the next level up. And that's kind of like your reward. And I was like, yeah, great. Like a few people were trying to banter me that night. I remember being at the awards and, wow, you didn't get the award this year. I was like, bro, I just got put on 25K more a year. I've had a promotion. You're 6 years older than me, and I'm now your boss, basically. I didn't say this to them because I'm not that kind of person. But that meant more to me than, wee, a little award. And I've always just felt that way. That's just me. You don't have to agree with it, but they're just not that important in my personal opinion. Champions League doesn't start until the semis. Oh, don't start that nonsense. Come on. Terry, imagine getting stretchered off when you injured your finger. What is going on? Well, I don't know exactly what it is, but according to a few reports, it's a very severe cut to the hand with a lot of blood being lost. So the reason they probably put him on the stretcher is because quite a lot of blood is leaked out and you faint, and that happens when you lose blood. You can fall and crack your head. So, yeah, I wouldn't laugh at that, to be honest with you, especially not from a Liverpool fan, considering. And I will say this, the only thing I was disappointed with today is the way that Husam was treated when you could clearly see he hurt his arm. And a Liverpool fan here, like, laughing at a player hurting himself. After what happened to Conor Bradley earlier on this season, you would think there'd be a little more decorum from a handful of people. Both players were genuinely hurt. No need to banter them for that, my friend. No need to banter them. Tonight was great. No, Liverpool were fantastic tonight. Absolutely tip top. We can't sit here and diminish what the other leagues did to the Premier League because this was their whoopings, especially when last year people crapped on them. Well, I don't diminish other people's leagues. Me enjoying the Premier League the most is not diminishing anybody else's leagues. Maybe I have a little bit with Serie A because I think Serie A is absolutely on its arse. I don't think the standard of Serie A is very high at the moment. And we've seen some English teams get absolutely battered. Thing for me is this is what I'm a bit weirded out by. I'm not going to attack the league. I'm not going to attack the Premier League. I'm going to banter the clubs that just got beat. Not the league in itself. I know how good the Premier League is. But at the same time, like Spurs got knocked out tonight. But Spurs are a relegation candidate, and they were only narrowly knocked out. A couple of goalkeeping mistakes between the teams third in La Liga. In my personal opinion, I actually think, and I think this is on Pep, and I think this is on. I put this on Pep and I put this on Rafinha. Chelsea were absolutely in the game with PSG in the first leg, and they conceded the third goal from a mistake, and it was 3-2. And then they were just disrespectful to PSG, and they carried on opening up, and they carried on attacking instead of showing a little bit of nous and closing up and just taking that 3-2 defeat and coming back at Stamford Bridge. They opened up and got destroyed. City's was the opposite. City getting battered the way they did by Real Madrid is because Pep paid no respect to them. And I think if Pep started O'Reilly in the middle, had Cherky on the pitch, and wasn't so open and gun-ho, I don't think they get battered 3-0 in the first half the way they did. And you watched the game yesterday, much better, because of what they picked. And for Newcastle, Newcastle's game was one of the weirdest games of football I ever watched. And people that don't like the Premier League won't have an honest conversation about this. But for the first 3 quarters of the game, the Stamford Bridge, at St. James's Park, Newcastle were better than Barcelona. And again, naivety cost them a penalty at the end when they carried on attacking when they should have seen it out. Tonight, they were as good as Barcelona, in my personal opinion, in that first half. They were dangerous. They were catching them on the counter-attack. And they were really good. Barcelona, maybe in the first half, you could argue, maybe they were marginally better. But you know what? It was something along the lines of, I think Barcelona they'd have 5 big chances, but one of them was the penalty to the 3 big chances that Newcastle had. The XG wasn't even too dissimilar. For a team the size of Newcastle, the revenue of Newcastle away against Barcelona, that first half was fairly even. The second half, it was an absolute annihilation. But it wasn't a reflection on the first 3 quarters of that game. They conceded those 2 really poor goals early in the second half. And then what Newcastle did is they just stopped playing football. They just stopped playing football. And I think when it got to 7, Barcelona then just sort of went, all right, we'll take it easy now. But the Premier League has taken a slapping this week, has taken an absolute beating this week. And I think there's a lot to look at there. I think Chelsea's issues are nothing to do with the Premier League. I think Chelsea's issues are all to do internally, hiring the manager they have, the recruitment that they have done. I think Newcastle did a very good job until the second half and then just capitulated. And City's was all about Pep Guardiola and his galaxy braining and his inability to be a bit compact at times with the squad that he's got. And it's interesting because the Liverpool did very, very well against Galatasaray tonight. They absolutely did. But the one team who have been ridiculed all season by all the other English teams for being boring because they don't allow teams to create too many chances against them has been Arsenal. And it's a reason, and I don't think Arsenal get beat up like this by anybody in the Champions League this year. Why? Because they respect their opponents, they don't overcommit, and they defend well. And I actually think where Chelsea and City, especially with their experience at this level, remember, this is Newcastle's first ever knockout game in the Champions League proper. I know they won the playoffs, but their first ever proper knockout game. The lack of know-how at this level is massive for them. For Chelsea and for City, you've got to show far more respect to your opponent than they did at the right times. And I think that's the beatdown. Spurs, look, they conceded 7, which is horrendous, but we know they're not a very good team at the moment. They did score 5 as well. So their game for me was far less embarrassing, if I'm being honest with you, than City's and Chelsea's. But there's a long, these Premier League teams need a long, hard look at themselves. Because ironically, I'm seeing people go, it's because everyone's too focused on playing like Arsenal that they're bad in the Champions League. No, it's because you can't play anything like Arsenal that you've been bad in these knockout games in the Champions League because you can't attack and defend at the same time. You're not getting that balance right. You're not getting compact enough when you're losing possession. You're not working hard enough off the ball. And the Real Madrids and the Barcelonas and the PSGs did. And by the way, though, those teams also conceded a vat of chances. So it was just about which teams are more clinical. Last night, Chelsea could have scored 4 or 5 goals. City could have scored 4 or 5 goals as well. The two teams for me to watch in this tournament, I'll never write Liverpool off in the Champions League. Bayern Munich, I think, will batter Real Madrid. The PSG game will be a little different. And Arsenal, I think, have got a great chance against most of the teams who've seen knock out the Premier League sides because defensively, they leak as well. The difference is Chelsea just don't have the clinical edge to hurt them. But look, I want to get your views. I'm going to get the panel views on this as well in a few moments. Why are English fans attacking the Prem? Look, some people don't like the Premier League, and that's entirely up to them. I love the Premier League for what it is as an overall league. But we took a beating this week. I'm not going to start attacking the Premier League and saying rules have got to be changed. I'm going to go at the individual clubs. Because at the end of the day, when Man United were in the Champions League a couple of years ago and went out in the group stage, Liverpool didn't need to do anything different. City didn't need to wise up. The Premier League didn't need to change itself. Man United did. I'm looking at City and Pep. I'm looking at Chelsea and Blueco here. And I'm saying, you've got to wise up. Spurs, we know their problems. And I actually think, considering the way that game started with those 3 horrendous slips and mistakes, they did quite well to recover it. And Newcastle, look, they took a beating in the second half today. But I actually think for a team, some Liga fans said to me on Twitter, well, it's embarrassing that Newcastle got slapped like that because of the money the Premier League had. And I thought, but Newcastle don't have more money than Barcelona. What a weird comparison, just because the league's richer than yours. Barcelona are richer than all, in terms of revenue, than all but one of the Premier League teams. You should be beating all of us. Madrid should be beating all of us if you want to base it on revenue. But look, the Premier League teams took a beating. People can mock the Premier League. I'm not going to defend it, per se, because I don't need to. I love the Premier League. I don't, if someone says, Terry, who's your favourite singer? And I say Stevie Wonder, and they go, he's rubbish. I'm not going to defend him, because I don't need your validation. I'm focusing on the teams that got battered and what they need to do to improve. And my message to Chelsea and my message to City is be more like Arsenal in terms of attack well, but stop taking stupid risks and leaving yourself vulnerable against pacey counterattacks because you can't handle it. And when you've got the potency that PSG and Real Madrid have got, Barcelona have got, they'll kill you. They'll absolutely annihilate you. That's not a Premier League problem. It's a Chelsea and City problem. Let's start bringing the panel out now to have their say on the show. Terry, I haven't actually watched either of Bayern's first or second leg games yet. I never got around to it last week, and I was so ill from Thursday onwards. It's a horrible cold. It's nearly gone now. I'm actually going to watch a bit of that tonight after I'm done here, to be fair. I'm going to watch the extended highlights if I can. That's good on you, Terry, but a lot of dense people put too much influence on the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, but again, I'm not 10 years old anymore. I just don't think it matters that much. A lot of people care about it because it trends online. It's cool to talk about. I don't have an opinion on who should win it, but it doesn't change for instance, if I think, I don't even know who should win it this year. Let's wait till after the World Cup. But say I think Yamal should win it and he doesn't. It doesn't change my mind on how good I think Yamal was. Does that make sense? I don't need the person to win the award. Same as the Oscars. Do you know a few years ago, well, I was very happy Sinners won. I fucking love Sinners. I've been a fan of Michael B. Jordan ever since he was in the TV show Friday Night Lights. Love that show. But about a decade ago, Interstellar didn't get nominated. Do you know that Shawshank Redemption didn't even make it into cinemas because they saw it as a flop of a film? But I loved it, and I watched that when it came out, right? So I don't need it to get an Oscar for me to go, it's the best film ever. Does that make sense? I just don't care about those things. I think they're so inconsequential. It's unbelievable. Thank you for all the wonderful memories, Mo. This season has been tough, but irrespective, you are Liverpool's greatest ever and also a Premier League GOAT. You never walk alone. Do you know what I don't think has helped Mo Salah this year? Has been the fact the whole team has declined. Slot's done a bad job overall, and he's kind of been dragged along with it. You know, sometimes you get a player that you can see is waning, but the team's still really good, and they kind of carry him through a little bit. But yeah, what a player he has been. What a player he has been for you. Imagine the Spurs team played in the first leg. They did, after they fell over and conceded 3 fucking goals. That's the mad bit. They kind of did play like this once they were kind of recovered. Once they recovered after those mistakes. I know Jason Cundy was trolling, what's his bloody name? O'Hara, but he was sort of right. They actually played quite well after the first collapse. No wonder y'all didn't want the Super League. Imagine if all the teams had the same budget as the Prem, and look how much Barcelona have spent since Messi left before making ignorant comments. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you know, from my point of view and perspective, the English clubs did want the Super League the same as everybody else. And if the Super League happened, I think you'd see what you see now. But at the end of the day, let's not pretend that Barcelona don't still spend a lot of money, okay? Your turnover in 2025, as an example, was £975 million. 54% of that was your salary. Okay, so just on salary alone, okay, let's just have a look at this here. So this minus 54%. Your salary bill alone is £526 million. You in 2025, okay, £525 million was spent on salary. Okay, to put that into perspective. Okay, let's take a look tonight at Liverpool, one of the remaining English teams in the Premier League. In that same time period, their wage bill came in at 475 million, which is pretty high, but yours is 50 million pound higher. But you would argue the best English team in the Champions League so far this year has been Arsenal, and in that same time period, their wage bill came in at a level of, let's just have a little look here, because their revenue was quite high that year, to be fair, but we'll look at what their revenue, their wages were, 400 million. So you're spending on average a year 125 million pound more on wages than Arsenal do. So yes, you may not be spending what you used to on transfers. The reason for is because you spent such a large amount in the past on crap players that you're still trying to recover. You're doing all your levers. But this idea that Real Madrid and Barcelona don't spend huge amounts of money is just absolutely mythical. Real Madrid revenues, okay, 1.161 billion, okay. And the wages they spend in that same time period, if we take a look at this, because we're going to do this now because people are just coming in with randomness. Their wage bill was 517 million at the same time. So huge amounts of money being spent. And don't even worry about net spend with me because I will score you all day. Signing Kylian Mbappe was not free. It cost them the best part of £200 million to bring him in. It's one player because of the signing on fees, the agent fees, and everything else. So let's just be absolutely real, okay? Real Madrid and Barcelona should always be expected to be some of the best teams in Europe, and they invariably are, and we always praise them for that because you spend as much, if not more, than anybody else. Okay? You earn more than anybody else. So come on now. Calm yourself down. You're a brilliant team. You're a brilliant team. You weren't a few years ago. I remember when Man United knocked you out of the Europa League. You were building from then. But yeah, I expect, and by the way, one of the biggest reasons I attacked Man United in the last 10 years is because we were spending huge amounts of money and we were crap. I expect any team that has a wage bill of £525 million a year to be one of the best teams in Europe. If you're not, you should shut your club down. Come on now, let's be real. Barcelona earn more than every Premier League club without a stadium, and second overall next season with the stadium they built will break 1.1 billion easily and be number one. Yeah, massive revenues, huge revenues, gargantuan revenues. And they spend huge, and they're right to, by the way, fair play for spending it. You know, if Man United could get our revenues to that, it's why Man United want a 100,000 seat stadium. So we can push our revenues back up, you know, get to the 900s, the billies. And then I want a wage bill of 500-600 million to have some of the best players in the world and then to keep them. And this is why when it comes to wage bills, you should never ignore it in debates. The wage bill is more important than the transfer fees because that's what keeps your team. If you look at Arsenal's wage bill over the last 5 years, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger because they're getting all these really good players. And instead of letting them go for 50, 60, 70 million, because they now want 250 grand a week, they're paying them the wages. So the wage bill grows. So then the overall investment in your team each year gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as that wage bill grows. But if you're signing the right players, whether you sign them for free, quote unquote free, or whether you spend big money on them, the longer you keep them, the bigger that investment is. But what it also should do, if you're buying right and becoming a better team, your revenues start to grow. Man United finishing 15th last year versus finishing 3rd this year if we do it. Just in prize money, we'll earn an extra 47 million. We'll get an extra 70 million from the Champions League and an extra 30 million in revenue from the match day receipts from that. So suddenly we're 140 million pound better off just by finishing 3rd compared to where we were last year. I want to see that straight away invested in better players, in bigger salaries to make us a better team. But then when you're doing that, you can't sit there and go, oh, but it's, you know, the Premier League's got more TV rights than us. If you earn more than we do, you should be better than we are. Embrace it. Enjoy it. Why cry? Great night for you guys. Just because I like La Liga, but just because I prefer the Premier League, don't get your knickers in a twist. It really isn't important what I like versus what you like. Your team's brilliant. You're an amazing team again. High line makes you really vulnerable, and I love watching it. It's my favorite Barcelona team ever to watch because they won 15 years ago. No one could fucking beat them. They were so hard to beat. This team are gettable, but so deadly. I love it. Embrace it. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Right, bringing the panel on now, people. If you haven't done so yet, get the video liked. Make sure you respect, not respect. I was hearing someone say respect the ball. There we go. There we go. Terry, that was quite a long breakdown, but you've got to speak facts. And again, preferences. Someone tells me their preference. I don't care. Like when you get to 40 years old, I couldn't care for anyone else's preference. Oh, I don't like Snickers. I like Mars bars. Great. I'm not going to debate a chocolate bar with you. I'm not going to debate which league is worth watching. I like what I like. Deal with it. Deal with it. You know what I mean? It shouldn't even matter to people. Why do people need the validation? You know? But Terry, La Liga has way harsher FFP than other leagues. Chelsea, with their losses, have the spending power of Sevilla in La Liga. Yeah, but what's your point here, though? You know, La Liga has these harsher rules, yes, but for 2 decades, the government was paying off all the debts of these big clubs over there. Our fucking government wouldn't be doing that, would they? Look, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I don't care about that. What league do I prefer to watch? The Premier League. I'm shrouded in bias in that because my own club plays in that league. Right? That's it. I prefer it because my team's in it. My rivals are in it. My friends' teams are in it. I love the drama. I think it's put on, you know, some people go, it's PR. Well, yeah, okay, cool. I love the way the Premier League package is put together. You know, do I disrespect La Liga? No, I think it's really, really good. I think it's really, really good. I love a lot of the teams that are in it. I don't get what the argument's over. It's like the Messi and Ronaldo tards, you know. Oh, my guy's better. My guy's better. The fuck? Shut up. It's just irrelevant. Let's just enjoy football. There we go. Let's bring the panel out now. How many teams are left? So we've got 2 English, 3 Spanish. So 2 English, 3 Spanish, 1 German, 1 Portuguese, 1 French. Oh, what's going to be left by the semi-finals, do we reckon? I'm going to go with Arsenal, Barca, Bayern Munich, Liverpool. See, this is what's going to be ironic, right? If you've got 2 English in the semi-finals, 1 German and 1 Spanish, does everyone then change their mind and go, oh, no, the Prem's definitely better? Like, this is what's crazy. I was thinking about it earlier. This is why it's all just a nonsense debate. Because if Spurs would have come back tonight, what would that have meant? A relegation team knocking out a third-place team. I just think it's all a little bit much. Yeah, but they're my semi-finalists. So I think Liverpool will beat PSG. I think they'll beat them. Maybe we'll get onto why later. Like, share, and subscribe. Panel time now, people. Husam is here. Thomas is here. Ram is with us. K-Mac is in the house. Hello, gentlemen. A good night to be a Liverpool fan tonight. What a win. What a win. What a performance.
You haven't said that this year, have you?
Great.
You haven't said that at all this year, man.
Don't try and take. I mean, he's an ex-banker. Like, don't try and take him on.
I'm so happy we won today, man. I don't get you saying we're gonna beat PSG's mind games, but we're gonna let that go for now. Today, I think is a great performance. Probably our best. Not probably. It was our best performance of the whole season. I think I'll be honest with you. First half, I was fearing the worst. Tom and Ram and K-Mac know why, because it was gonna be the same conversations for the next 3 days about one specific player. And we have an international break coming up, so I just couldn't do that another 3 days of the same garbage. So
Who?
you know what it would have been like.
I think he's on about the fella who in the first half missed the penalty that and missed
him. I thought you were going to talk about somebody else, bro.
No. That's the only one they speak about on Liverpool YouTube now. But anyway, I'm so happy we ended up winning. I'll be honest with you. In the first half, I thought we could have scored like this game in general. No, I don't think that this statement has ever been made on the Football Terrace without exaggeration. But this is the first time that's going to be made without exaggeration. I think we'd won this game. Could have won this game like 9 goals. Like, we could have actually scored so many goals in this game. We could have literally scored 8 or 9 goals. That Galatasaray goalkeeper today saved them from embarrassment. And it's just not just Mo, Ekitike, Verts, like every single, like Soboslai, McAllister, every single player had chances to score in that game. And that was a phenomenal, incredible performance. It's just Galatasaray. Well, guess what? It was just Wolves, and it was just Spurs, and it was just Leeds, and it was just Burnley, and it was just PSV. Shall I keep going? No, I don't need to keep going. So we already know how silly those conversations are. So I'm very happy we ended up winning. Us and Arsenal, only 2 English teams to go through. We needed that. And the performance was incredible today. I don't think Virgil, Konate, and Ali had much to do today. Probably just that one shot in the first half, which Alisson saved. But outside that, we were just on it from start to finish. And I really haven't said that. And Tom is right. We haven't said that about Liverpool all season long. But we were actually on it from the beginning. And I'm very happy for the win. Because it's one thing, and we all know this as Liverpool fans and Liverpool content creators, it's one thing, losing to a PSG on penalties, losing to a Bayern Munich like 3-2 on aggregate or something. But when you can't get knocked out by Galatasaray. You just can't. Me and Terry spoke about this earlier on Straight Facts today. I was worried for the game, but you just literally cannot get knocked out by Galatasaray at Anfield. And I said, like, that's 2 games. I said, even if Tom Little was manager, we should be winning. And today, the players were on it. And I think pride took over as well. Pride took over with these players because you can't.
Tom,
it's just very disrespectful to look at this guy. It's very disrespectful to like get knocked out to Galatasaray. I can't have that on your CV. So we ended up winning. Very happy we ended up winning, and we'll see what happens in the quarterfinals. It's a while from now anyway, and Isak's back. I thought Mo was very good in the second half. Ekitike made up. Him and Ekitike both made up for their misses in the first. McAllister was our best midfielder, best passer in the team, as I said. Unlike the guy in the bottom right who thinks his passing is overrated. I don't know why. Gravenberg had a good game, Szoboszlai has been our best player all season long. And again today, first half was unreal. And I just love the performance. Kerkez was on it from minute 1. There's not a single Liverpool player that I can fault today. So I'm very happy. And hopefully we can do this in the next game as well. Brighton, 12:30 kickoff, Saturday. So yeah.
You've got to give the manager credit, which makes it even more frustrating because he set up the team perfectly today in terms of mentality and in terms of structure. He finally realised Mohamed Salah at 34 years of age should not be stood on the touchline. He should be as close to goal as possible. We're talking about a guy who's got over 300 goals here. Get him as close to goal as possible. And he's finally did that today. And yes, he missed chances. He missed chances today. He missed the chip. He missed the ball through. He missed the penalty. But the best goal scorers get 6 chances a game when they're put in the correct area. And that was what we did today. We platformed them properly. He was narrow. I like the dynamic we had on the left-hand side as well. Vert's able to just float around on the left, bring Ekitike close to him, have the nice little link-ups where they can create space and play through one another or play through the left-back. The setup was spot on, and out of possession, it is the most aggressive we've been all season. He set us up like how most top teams set up in the 4-1-3-2. He gave us license to press high up and really go at them. And the amount of times we forced mistakes in that game and forced them to just play long balls up top, which Canate and Van Dijk sweeped up, no problem. It allowed us to dominate the game and pen them in. And it was one of the few games this year where I felt we've been a consistent threat, where every time we're going forwards, I'm thinking we could do something here. We could do something here. We could do something here. We were still pretty wasteful today. We were still pretty wasteful. Some of the misses that we had, you want to be seeing them go in. But if this is if we're now going to see this setup, this system for the most part at the end of the season, where he's finally managing this team and understanding the size of team it is to where he doesn't need to be, I'm going to have to drop a guy into the back line because I can't have the overloads. Now that he's in this game, it felt like he wanted to throw his weight about a bit and go, we are Liverpool, we are just better than you, and my players are going to show it. So I want to see that mentality carry through for the rest of the season. This is the kind of football that I've wanted to see all season. This is the kind of football we've been crying out to see all season. This is the kind of football I could back. 100%. This is the kind of football I could back if it was what his plan was. I just don't think it is long term. So that's where the big concerns coming in. Also, the Noah Lang one. I know the Osimhen one. He's probably fractured his arm and stuff, and he played on for a bit. And I've got time for that. But Noah Lang, I know that people have been taking the piss out, and he's damn near fucking amputated his finger by all accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So
it looked bad.
It looks bad.
I'm not shocked that they had to get him on a stretcher and everything. He's pretty much cut the entire part of his finger.
Especially when there was blood leaking out of his hand. You don't want any more blood leaving.
Kind of mocking that. It's just
he was delirious. He was
tried
to come back on the pitch. They had to force him off the pitch.
Exactly. Anytime you're losing blood, they have to sit you down and lay you down because at any point you could collapse. And that's when worse injuries happen, like you can fracture your skull, break your ankles, all sorts of things. So, mocking him, I thought was wrong. Same as the Osimhen. And I get sometimes, but this is the point, right? I get the players it's what annoyed me about it is your players didn't see the knee hit Osimhen's arm, which we saw on replay. So they thought he was faking it. But it's exactly the same as Martinelli. He didn't see that Conor Bradley.
I thought they were having a go at Osimhen because he thought Szoboszlai did it on purpose. Because he had a go at Szoboszlai being like, "You did it on purpose."
No, they were telling him to hurry up and get up, but they didn't realize how painful his arm was. That's all it was. And but this is my point at the time. All players do that to each other because so many people fake injury. That's why everybody thinks people are faking injuries. So, what did you make of the performance tonight? Actually, before we go any further, Ram, I need to ask you about something. What did you make of the penalty tonight? You made a big song and dance about how easy Madueke went down last week, even though there was contact. There was contact on Szoboszlai. There was a little graze on his leg. Are you going to condemn Szoboszlai for going down easy today as you did Madueke, or is this one different in your opinion?
It's different because he's a Liverpool player, isn't it?
Good answer.
No, but look, at the end of the day, I still stand by what I said. For me, I look at more the defender than I did. I love how Terry liked to focus on the Madueke stuff because I felt as though I focused more on the Bayer Leverkusen defender than Madueke. But again, it's one of those situations. If you're going to do something brain dead like what that Galatasaray player did, you're going to risk giving away a penalty. And unfortunately, with players like Madueke and like Szoboszlai, they're gonna make the most of it and give the referee a decision to make. So for me, look, it was definitely exaggerated. He didn't need to go swan diving around. But it's one of those situations where if you're gonna be an idiot, you're gonna get punished. And that's how it is.
I can't believe you've not said it was an ethical penalty win. After the old debates all week about what's ethical and unethical in the sport, that's an ethical penalty win.
But still, this is the thing, Tom. Terry focuses on the Madueke stuff, yeah. But my main focus was Tillman's an idiot. Tillman's is an idiot for sliding in.
You said that, but you also said Madueke dived. Okay, and when you say someone dives, you are implying they shouldn't have had a penalty. I think both are fouls, but I also agree that both players simulated their fall. I just stand on the point that they both got fouled. I mean, there was a mark on Szoboszlai's leg. He got kicked on the shin because the player missed the ball. It should be a penalty. He shouldn't have to go down to get it, but you have to because referees are poor right across the board. I just went through social media looking for the outroar, the replays, the thousands of quote tweets saying this is killing our football, keep it away from kids. I haven't seen anything. I'm not sure.
I wouldn't go that far.
The bad decision in that game. The bad decision in that game. No, why was McAllister's goal ruled out right at the end? Where's the foul on the keeper there?
Oh, I thought it was for handball.
Pity, Tom. You can't
hit him on the shoulder.
No, but Tom.
He's holding out for a foul on the keeper.
I'll be honest with you, Terry. Both fouls are not the same, man. They're not.
But Tom.
No, I think they're both are.
One is a slight contact. One is a slight contact. The other clear contact. You could see it. It's a slight contact for the Madueke one. I'm not arguing it anyway, but the contact by the Galatasaray player was a lot.
It does also show that there was a stud mark on his leg, so it kind of makes it worse.
You're all grown men and have played football. That kind of contact doesn't make you fall like a tree and then jump and then go through the air. There's simulation to it. Equally, Madueke.
Maybe that's why Salah missed the pen. Maybe he didn't believe it was a pen, and we should be eradicating these kind of penalties. So we no, I'm not going to.
Yeah, big up Salah. He missed on purpose.
Salah, man.
That was like
the goalie. Unfortunately, Havertz one like that, man.
No, I understand, right? Maradona, I wasn't actually scolding for the agendas. It's called a bit of a joke amongst friends. Learn to have some fun. Get some friends, Maradona, the moron. Get some friends, and you'll enjoy life so much more. But from my point of view, I do find them very similar. They're different types of contact, but they are for me minimal contact. But they're both fouls, and I put them all into that same category. I just find it interesting that when it's for our teams, we're far more forgiving, and then when it's for a rival or against us. But there we go. We'll come back to Liverpool in a minute. Deji. I'm not saying this to be condescending. I felt tonight was a very honourable and brave fight back from Tottenham, and I felt you were a little bit. I don't know. I felt a bit like you're a little unlucky tonight.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Atletico is Atletico Madrid. Even if you say it quick, let's put some respect. The fact that Tottenham went out there tonight and we won 3-2, given the circumstances, and I said last week, I came on the show and I said, if not for the errors, Spurs probably get a draw from that game. And there were a lot of naysayers in the chat saying, Deji, you're lying. Atletico Madrid were comfortable. They played you off the park. They forced the errors. No, that's a whole load of bollocks. If not for the unforced errors, Spurs play Barcelona. It's that simple. And we saw it tonight. We were the better team. It was domination in the location. Yes, they caught us on the counter-attack, scored 2 good goals, and bloody hell, what a player Alvarez is. But the result was never in doubt. Spurs were going to win. And I said it. Someone said last week, do you really think Spurs are going to score 3 goals? And I said, yes. The question was, I knew Spurs were always going to score 3, could we keep them out? And the answer is we got our answers tonight. We couldn't keep them out. They are a good team. But I'm proud of that performance. You know, we're quick to criticize when Spurs are not playing well. Igor Tudor got a tune out of the players. They're playing well. And this is what we've been asking for under Frank. Not necessarily winning games, but fighting and showing that there's teams and that there's good players there. And that's the one thing I can say about Igor Tudor. Say what you like. He has brought a little bit of sense of pride back to our club in the Liverpool performance and the performance tonight. So look, I'm delighted. Yes, we're out of the Champions League. It's unfortunate, but anyone who's not moving like Stevie Wonder knows the real reason why we're not in the next round, and that's simple. You know, unforced errors means Spurs are out of the Champions League, but bloody hell, what a performance, and we can be proud of our club tonight.
No, I think you can, and you know what I would say about the players, if they went out into every Premier League game and run that hard, defended that well, fought for every ball. And it's the perseverance where the first attack doesn't come off. They attack again. I heard a clip from Ricky on the United stand. He tries to have a pop at Bruno Fernandes again. The reason he creates so many chances and creates so many goals and gets so many assists is because when he tries it once, it doesn't work. He tries it again and again and again. That's the only reason he's good. He tries to make it sound like an insult. All I could hear is praise, right? I'm going, that's exactly what you need your team to do. And Spurs, you give up too much from me this season. 3 or 4 attacks haven't worked. You kind of run out of ideas. You run out of momentum. Where tonight, you just kept on going and going. And I think if you can play like that in your next 3 or 4 Premier League games, you have a really good chance of staying up.
100%. I think the issue is, and what Eagles has done is he's brought a mentality shift to the players. You know, the Liverpool game, if that was under Frank's gone in there risk adverse. Let's not concede too many goals rather than let's go at them. Tonight we went at Atletico Madrid, they couldn't cope. Do you know what I mean? And that's why we got the win. And if you go at a team, you know, more often than not, attack is the best form of defense. That's what we did today. And we won. Atletico Madrid is a really, really strong team, and they've got to be respected. So look, the mentality shift in the players, they clearly give a damn. Whether they're playing for the manager, whether they're playing for themselves, this is what you expect from professional footballers. Go out there, do your job, play hard, do your best, and then the fan base respect you. There's no Tottenham fan today that can't say that they are proud of the performance from the boys today. This is what we've been crying out for all season, and we're getting it tonight. You know, we got it against Liverpool, and we got it tonight, and we're delighted. What we now need to do is we need to continue. You know, it would have, all of that, getting a draw against Liverpool, beating Atletico Madrid would all be for nothing if we don't follow that up with a win against Forest on the weekend.
I think I just caught a glimpse of the last couple of minutes of the Spurs game, and I think the one thing that really stood out to me, and you mentioned about mentality, it was everyone knew that the tie was more or less done in the 90th minute. I think 92nd minute, I think when Conor Gallagher tried to win a penalty, I shamelessly added Terry and asked him if it was a penalty.
Yeah, that one wasn't a penalty. That wasn't.
I mean, you know what? If he had just stood his ground and not did that theatrical Sylvia Young dive, I think he gets a pen. But when you start adding theatrics, you're not going to get a pen.
Yeah, maybe. But I think the one thing what stood out, I think Alex Baena was running through on goal. And it's not even that you guys performed well. It's just that Jed Spence put his heart on the line and literally ran 70 yards back to tackle him. And I was like, you know what? If I was a Spurs fan, I could be cautiously optimistic that there's still some fight left in this team. Like, if you normally when you're trying to win a game and then you have a counter attack and no one's there, you're gonna let them score. It's gonna be one of those ones. But no, the Tottenham, some of those Tottenham players were pushing a gut to actually get that challenge in. So fair play to them, man. They played well, and is going to give them some form of hope for both the fans and the players for the up and coming last games of the season.
I hear that. In terms of the next round, gentlemen, these are the fixtures. Liverpool are going to play PSG, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, a La Liga tie between Barca and Atletico, and then Arsenal play Sporting Lisbon. I mean, K-Mac, coming to you first, how do you see Liverpool getting on against Paris Saint-Germain?
I think it's all about Anfield. It's all about Anfield. And look, tonight, I don't think the players have been. I don't think the players have been with the manager for quite a while now. I think tonight was really telling because it was things that made a difference tonight. Like, they really showed up for this game, and I don't know. I just felt the attitude was totally different from all our players. And the manager's had a rocket up his arse, you can tell. Like, he's on the touchline being animated. He hasn't done a year. Like, he hasn't done that for a year. Round, jumping in the air, like waving his hands everywhere. And I'm sat there going, where's this been all season? Where's this been all season when we really needed it from you? But I think haven't been playing for him lately. But I think this is about a trophy. And I think there's a lot of players there that maybe aren't going to be here next season, and they want to win this trophy. I think we've got a chance against PSG because if we turn up and play games like that, we'll blow anyone away. Like 32 shots we had on goal, like nine big chances. Like, Mo Salah was involved in everything today. It was exactly what we needed and exactly what we're capable of. Like teams capable of that on a daily basis.
I think there's something wrong with your audio. You're like kind of jumping and repeating.
Yeah, it has echo.
Is it my mic again?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like echoing.
Echo.
I thought maybe it was just my connection, and then I see the comments talking about it. So sometimes you're going like, Mike, when we score, we might win.
And then it jumps.
Is that better?
And then it jumps. It's like,
Words are repeating. Yes.
it's
Anyway,
better.
for PSG, I don't know why Terry thinks we'll win, but I think I think it's just hopium for me personally. I think we're gonna have to out tactic them badly. We're gonna have to defend. Forget, like someone said today, Rafa Benitez ball. Forget Rafa Benitez. We need to play like Bardolas from Getafe. Have like 30% possession. Just give them the ball.
Don't, Husam.
Leave like Mo and Ekitike at halfway line, and just defend with the other 9 players and try to hit them on the counter, because we can't out physical them because we don't have enough physical midfielders. We can't out technique them because they have a lot more technique than us, and we can't attack them. If we take it to them, we can get slapped on the counter.
You need to
So we
play
have
there.
to defend properly. For me, it's. I'll be honest with you. I think PSG are the favorites for that game. Like, I think PSG are, I would say, probably 75% favorites to go through against us. I don't see us beating PSG.
I think they are. So PSG fan said, Terry, you're writing us off. No, PSG can win it. But I think what you have compared to Chelsea is more nous at this level. And I think you will know you can't do what Chelsea did. You won't start. I don't think you'll start the game at Anfield and the goalkeeper takes a long kick from their team. Konate lets it bounce and they run through on goal and score. I don't think if you're away, because you're home for the second leg, right?
Yeah.
Second
No,
leg.
we're at home for the second leg.
Yeah. At home.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
home.
home. Yeah, my bad. Yeah,
I
my bad.
don't think if you were 3-2 down going into the last 10 minutes in Paris, that you would be fairly open and attacking and allow them to keep countering on you. Chelsea, you're better. I think you're better than Chelsea. Okay, Martin, I think you're better than Chelsea.
Careful, Terry. Certain people will hear that.
Well, no, but I've made a cartoon character in the group chat now for Chez. I call him the Blueco boy. We put him in a nice Superman outfit. We're calling him the Blueco boy because that's what he is. He's a Blueco Ranger. But I feel, listen, they've got a very good chance of beating you because they're a very good team. But I just think you guys have more nous than Chelsea. And the one thing I've noticed with Barcelona this year is that I want to make sure I say this in the right way, they're more vulnerable than last season for the counterattacks. Chelsea, when it was 2-2, could have been leading. And even last night at Stamford Bridge, if people actually watch the game back objectively, they really should have scored 3 or 4 goals in that game. You guys are going to have chances. If you play like you did when you were up against Real Madrid, where you defend like lions, and if you work as hard as you did tonight, it's an outsider, but I'm just going to go with you guys sneaking it by the odd goal.
I think what also I was going to say, because I think your take is not that outrageous, to be honest.
It isn't. I'm not saying you're going to 5-0. Jesus.
Yeah, I believe that for me, this PSG team is I'm going to use this very loosely. They're hanging a little bit from last season, a bit similar to what we had in 2005, where the season after we just looked like we did everything in that year before, and we have like that little drop off period. I think they're having that this season, in my opinion. That doesn't mean they're still gonna be like they're gonna roll over them. They're not gonna be the same PSG. Of course, they've got world class talent scattered across the pitch. But it's not the same PSG. Like it's the PSG where I'm like, okay, they're still a good team, but they are gettable. Compared to last season where I was like, you know what, I really don't want to face PSG because if they win, they're going to win the Champions League. So that's my opinion on it. Plus that goalkeeper that they've got, he ain't no Donnarumma. Yeah, he ain't no Donnarumma. I thought he was going to be a decent player ever since from what I've heard from him at Lille, but boy, he's been bad. He's been bad this season.
And they can't rest their team like they did last year. They can't rest their team like they did last year because they have a challenge to win the league season. They haven't.
I love the fact K-Mac and Ram believe. I don't, but fair enough.
No. It's not like I don't believe. It's just
Chelsea had chances.
I don't think they're saying anything different from you. You're saying you've got a 25% chance, right?
Yes.
Well, I don't think we're saying it's much bigger than that, but we're just talking about how that 25% might play out. Same difference, Sam.
Oh, okay. I hear it. Fair enough.
Because it's 25% chance, there must be a way you think you win this. And how would that 25% come to life?
Okay. Fair enough.
John, this could literally be the last hurrah for Mo, Virgil, McAllister, Ali, Robbo. Like,
and Ali staying.
How are we not sat here thinking they could do a madness? Like they've done it before.
I feel like to win.
Come on.
To win this leg, Ali needs to do the same thing that he did last season, which is pull out another all-timer performance, especially at the Parc des Princes.
It's going to be hard. Like, no doubt about it. It's going to be hard. How about the other game on your side of the draw? And by the way, everyone's asking about Blueco Boy. This is Blueco Boy. Blueco Boy.
Wow, you went there.
He is.
Sam, if you're in the same group chat as Ches,
the reason I did it, he was in the group chat still defending the project earlier today. But how do you see the other game going in the your side, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich? Because I know they beat City, but again, City maybe could have scored 7 or 8 goals across the 2 legs themselves. Bayern Munich look a different kettle of fish to Man City. How's that game going to go?
I think it's going to be.
It's a 50-50, that one. You can't call it.
I don't. It's the one thing is Real Madrid have obviously got some outlets that they can hurt Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich got 2 of the best players in the world at this minute in Harry Kane and Michael Olise. Those 2 together have been on absolute madness this season. And obviously Luis Diaz is doing what he's doing at Bayern Munich. The real question is which defense is going to hold out the most, because I don't know if you guys heard.
Who both would you prefer to face? There's a correct answer.
Defenses.
But you know what? Do you know what?
No, there's correct answer, Raman K-Mac. Don't hide. Who would you prefer to face if we beat PSG?
At this moment, because Bayern Munich have no goalkeepers, Bayern Munich.
No way! No way!
I'm sorry, we've got.
You actually just don't know ball. You just don't know ball.
Bayern Munich.
You legit just don't know ball, Ram.
Bayern Munich have no goalkeepers. What's his name? Urbik, who I rate that much, is ill. Manuel Neuer is ill, and Ulreich is shocking. That guy should retire. You know, they're all saying, make sure you leave football before football leaves you. That should be Ulreich.
That old saying. You mean that false saying by Carragher about Casemiro, who's amazing? That guy. All right, cool.
Is that why he's leaving Man United?
Cheers, Dej. Appreciate it, bro.
Big up, Dej, man.
Yeah, cheers, bro.
Man. Thank you, brother.
No, but it's Bayern Munich is I only fear Bayern Munich's attack, but then I also fear Real Madrid's attack.
Tell us what their attack is. Tell us what their front four. Tell us. Name them.
Elise, Musiala, Diaz, and Kane.
Oh,
Real Madrid have got the same spirit. Hang on a minute. Are we going to sleep? Are we going to sleep on Real Madrid's attack?
What a fraud. We literally already beat Real Madrid twice, even with Slot. And in this season, in the middle of the bad run, we beat them. You know Madrid can be got at. You know Madrid can be got at. Bayern. No. You listen. You don't know ball. I'm educating you. I'm educating you. You don't know ball. Listen. Bayern Munich would abuse us. Like, you see how I said 25% chance against PSG? Bayern, we have like 3% chance. No exaggeration. Like, if Olise, can you listen? Listen, because you need to be educated. If Olise, Diaz, Kane, and Musiala are running on the counter-attack against Frimpong, Kerkez, this version of Van Dijk, and Konate, we are screwed completely.
But I can say the same thing about Real.
No, it's not, because Vinny's having a horrendous season. Vinny's having a bad season. Mbappe is their only real danger man. Mbappe is their only danger man, Ram. The rest are having bad seasons, bro.
Vinny lost the score against us.
Who's the one that scored against Real Madrid? Who's the one that scored against Real Madrid? Valverde.
Vinny lost the score against us, though. I don't know why, but he lost the score against us. And also, I feel like you guys are missing the point with Real Madrid. It's not because
have you seen Real Madrid's right back at defending?
Yes, I have. But they've also, but Bayern Munich have got Upamecano, and I don't know whether Upamecano is going to morph into France Upamecano or that Bozo Upamecano. We just don't know. We don't know. That's the thing. I feel as though each of them have their own strengths and their weaknesses, and the fact that Bayern Munich, for some stupid reason, I don't know how, I don't know, someone's put a curse on them. Their goalkeepers aren't available. I don't know why, but is that, and the fact that they're playing a 33-year-old Ulreich in goal. Brother, I'm gonna. If I was a Liverpool manager, I'll be asking them.
Harry Kane. They look. Last year when I watched Bayern Munich, they just look so vulnerable when teams attack them. Yeah. The games I've watched this year, it looks so different. They look so much stronger, and that's why they eventually got knocked out by Inter. They just couldn't stop leaking goals. This year they're scoring at it feels like they're scoring at the same rate, but defensively they're sound, and that's why I actually think it might be a boring final in terms of volume of goals. That's why a Bayern Munich Arsenal final might be very interesting, because they both can defend and they both can attack. I would say Bayern Munich's attack's better and Arsenal's defense is better, but they both do similar. Where equally, a semi-final I'd love to watch is Real Madrid PSG. I just think that would be carnage. PSG Barca final would be the same, because Barcelona are very good in the attack. But can I ask you boys about Newcastle tonight? Why do you think it went so wrong in the second half? Because maybe I'm wrong in this. Maybe I'm just shrouded in Premier League bias. I thought they were really in the game in the first leg and the first half of the second leg. And then it just dissipated.
It's quality, Terry. Like when you saw the likes of Fermin Lopez, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Lewandowski linking up with one another, that's when you knew. I think the Newcastle players knew that they're just a cut above. Like the quality of those players and the synergy, the understanding between one another has been crazy. It's been crazy. That's why I say Lamine Yamal is currently for me the best player in the world. Like he's been putting up trees for Barcelona. I think they came to a realization that they've reached their ceiling in the Champions League. And is nothing bad about them. It's just that Barcelona just have too much quality. Yeah.
I'll just say 30 seconds on Newcastle before I head out. Here's the thing. Newcastle just ruined their own season and everyone else's season. And I'm just not over it. They ruined our season as well for no reason whatsoever. I think had Newcastle just sold Isak in May like they were supposed to anyway, they would have had a lot better season because they'd had a lot more time to plan. I think Eddie Howe is a fraud playing Walter Maid in midfield for no reason whatsoever. Today, again, playing a high line against Barcelona. Who do you think you are? Who do you actually think you are? You go away to Barcelona and play a high line. You wanna out Barcelona. It's crazy. Anyway,
I hear you on that.
I mean,
This.
so
Go on.
just said, like what I was going to say. Like I think Newcastle were naive. Like
Yeah, I think there was that. I didn't think they played with a high line the whole game, but they did at the beginning of the second half,
even
and
at
that
their own ground, like they played really well, and they kept Lamau quiet the whole game.
Yeah. I think the first leg, I know they conceded so many goals, but I think once they conceded those 2 quick goals at the start of the second half, I think their hearts went. Yeah. But actually, where they really lost it is they missed too many good chances in the first leg. And I think actually they probably should have taken a 2-1, maybe even a 3-1 lead into this game. But again, it's naivety for me. And I wouldn't say that Eddie Howe's a fraud. It's naivety. Start that second half. They should have been, even though they're losing, they should have been so hard and stinky to break down. And then you go again. Sometimes people think in the Champions League, you're losing, got to go for it. You don't go too early, because you'll leave yourself vulnerable. Sometimes you can actually sit in a little bit longer, let 10 minutes go by, maybe take the tempo out of the game, quieten the crowd, and then go again. But I didn't realise tonight. That's the first
what I don't get though, Terry, is they didn't just play the same tactics against PSG. They got a result there.
Like, no, I get that, mate. A few super chats here.
Could have happened for them.
Yeah, you're echoing again, mate. Sorry. This says Courtois' big injury could be out for the rest of the season. High grade abductor injury. Real are not a good side. Who?
Oh, that's the goalkeeper, Jonas Urbig, that got ill.
Will be in goal for.
If that's the case, then I take it back. it back.
Real Madrid. They just remind me. I mean, listen, Barcelona, I think, have got better technical football players, but they both sort of remind me of the boxer Deontay Wilder. And what I mean by that is it's just about they've got knockout blows everywhere. They can uppercut you to sleep. They can jab you to sleep. They can cross you. They can haymaker you. Defensively, I find them both so vulnerable compared to the world-class Madrid and Barca teams of years gone by. It's just whether or not you can handle the volume of punches and the weight of those punches that are being thrown at you. They're technically better boxers than Deontay Wilder. I'm just using him as an example because it's just haymaker after haymaker they have. But that's why I think Bayern Munich will beat them. But we'll see. La Liga versus Premier League, Real Madrid, Liverpool semi-final, Barcelona, Barca. That would be amazing, actually. That would be amazing semi-finals.
Didn't that happen once?
I can't remember.
No, it was La Liga versus Bundesliga, wasn't it?
Bundesliga, yeah. You could have that again. I mean, that would be amazing because, again, if you imagine, you get the La Liga guys go through, it's going to be carnage. The Prem teams go through carnage.
Oh, no,
Liverpool Arsenal final, that would be a stinky 0-0 right through to penalties, wouldn't it? You know what I mean?
Now you never know. Soboslai special. You never know. Soboslai special. In Budapest,
you say we got a chance.
Definitely. Terry, remember years ago, Maradon, the viewer, showed up at your workplace. How did he find where? No, it wasn't Maradon. It was a guy called Safe. It was unless Maradon is safe, and I don't know it. It was Safe that turned up at my work. It was funny. It was a funny day. Listen, I want to thank you all for tuning in. This is going to redirect you to El Hawa. Go and watch Husam and his boys over there. Great stream. Go and check it out.
By the way, all the rivals that went out. Did 30 goals in 8 games in those league games. Man. Yeah. Hold that because we carry on.
Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.